Hi guys, my name is Renato Filizola and today I'm going to show you how to set up from scratch two LANs and connecting those two LANs using a Cisco router using a static route. So let's get started. So I'm using like packet tracer, and in this packet tracer there's an option here to choose an end device. So I'm gonna click here. I'm gonna open like the first PC. Let me just maximize here a little bit more. There we go. So PC 0, actually this will be PC 1, and then my second PC, PC 2, my third PC, PC 3, and on the other side, I'm gonna set up here my PC 4, PC 5, and PC 6. It will be two different networks. Let me just organize this here. There we go. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And I'll put here this network will be 192.168.0.0/24, which is a class C. And let's say this is the uh, let's say this is the New York network. Okay, New York network 192.168.0.0/24. And the first thing I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna choose the network devices and my switch. So this switch I will be, yeah, I'll choose this 2960. I'll rename here as SW1, switch 1. And there's this option here for connections. I'm gonna click here and I'll choose the straight through cable. I'm gonna select my first PC. I'm gonna connect to the fast Ethernet, and on my switch, I'll be connecting to fast Ethernet 01. Same thing for my PC2, fast Ethernet and fast Ethernet 02. And the third PC from fast Ethernet to my fast Ethernet 03. I'll click on the PC. There's the option like for desktop, and we can go IP configuration. I'm gonna go static. This will be simulating regular PC being set up. So the IP address will be 192.168.0.1. Class C subnet mask 255.255.255.0, and my default gateway needs to be 192.168.0.254, which will be the IP address of my LAN router. Okay, DNS, I'm gonna select just like to have something, but we're not gonna use anything with DNS, but I'll set up the Google one just to have something here. I'm gonna close this, and it'll be the same thing for PC2. Same idea, 192.168.0.2. Let me copy this. Subnet mask, uh, default gateway 254, and my DNS. Close. Same thing for my PC3, desktop IP configuration, and this is going to be .3. My default gateway, same thing, 254, and my DNS. And I'll check with my command prompt if I have the correct IP address. Yes, I do. let me try if I can ping from my PC3 to my PC1, which is 192. I'm gonna ping 192.168.0.1. Yes, I can ping my PC1, and I'll be checking my PC2. So all good. There is communication already. So my first network has been set up. And on the other side, I'll do the same thing. So let's say this is my uh, Toronto 192. No, I'm gonna do like 172.116.0.0/24. Also a class C. Let me just organize this. There we go. Okay, so this is my second network for my PC4, PC5, and PC6. I'm gonna double click on my PC4 desktop IP configuration, and I'll go with 172.16.0.1 for my first PC. And this is an IP address of a class B, but I'll be using a class C mask. Actually, the IP is class C, but I'm gonna use 255.255.255.0. And my default gateway needs to be on the same network. I don't have the router already set up, but the LAN IP address will be 172.116.0.254, and the DNS, I'll be using the same one. I'm gonna do the same thing for PC5. Actually here, just to have something organized, instead one, I'll do four. Just because this is like PC4, but it wouldn't matter. PC5, desktop IP configuration, 172.16.0.5, and my mask is a class C. Let me just like copy this to be easier. I'm gonna paste here in 255, 8.8.8.8. I'm gonna close, PC6, desktop IP configuration, and here is 6, 172, oops, 254, and DNS 8.8.8.8. But again, we're not going to use anything, uh, any servers, anything related to DNS. We just to have something here again. I'm going to choose my straight through cable. Oops, first I need to go to my network devices, switches, and I'm going to choose this 2960 for my Toronto network. This will be SW2, my switch 2. I'm going to select the connections, my straight through cable from PC4 fast Ethernet connected to, I'm going to select fast Ethernet 4. It doesn't matter, I can select any of them. It just to have something organized. So PC4 will be like with my fast Ethernet 4, and so on. So same idea for my PC5 and PC6. So PC5, I'm going to select Fast Ethernet 0, and my switch Fast Ethernet 0/5. And the last one, PC6 Fast Ethernet, my switch Fast Ethernet 0/6. It's just like synchronizing. Let's just wait until we see all the cables and all the connections synchronized. So I'm going to select PC4. I'm going to go to command prompt. I'm going to check my IP address, which is 172.116.0.4. My mask 255.255.255.0. My default gateway is dot 254. And I'm gonna check if I can ping 172.116.0 dot my PC5, for example. I'm pinging from PC4 to my PC5. Yeah, it's working. I'm gonna check PC6 as well. Oh, good. So my second network, my Toronto network, has been set up as well. And now it's time to connect my router. So I'm going to select network devices, and now I'll be working with maybe this 1941. Yeah, that's fine. So this will be the router for my New York. And I'm going to select the same model for my uh, Toronto network. So let me just like do this Toronto router, and this is my New York router. Okay, let me just move this a little bit more. There we go. And then it should be fine here. Fine here. Yeah, I think it looks okay. So I'm gonna select my connection, and then I'll be using straight through cable from my switch, but now I'm gonna use gigabit Ethernet 01 to gigabit Ethernet 01 as well. And now we can see it shows red because I would need to set up my IP address for this, and I would need to enable the interface. So I'm gonna do on the other side, switch to gigabit Ethernet 01 to my gigabit Ethernet 01. Actually, it doesn't matter, but I'm gonna use this gigabit Ethernet 01 to be connected to my Toronto network. So same thing I did for my New York. And between them, I can choose my gigabit Ethernet 00 to my gigabit Ethernet 00. Okay, so the idea here is we are going to set up, let me just see if I can do this. Yes. Okay, so this is better now. So the idea here is I need for my router LAN interface, it's going to be 192.168.0.254, which is going to be the gateway of my network here. Okay, this, and the same idea for my Toronto network, but here it needs to be on the same network as my Toronto network, which is 172.116.0.254. Actually, it could be any IP address between between 1 and 254. But I'll be choosing the last one, which is 254. So that's fine. Okay. So this interface here, I need to set up with 192.168.0.254, and this interface here for my LAN router, which is going to be connected to my Toronto network. The IP address will be 172.116.0.254. And between them, I'm gonna choose 200.200.200.1 slash 30. So 30, it means that uh, my subnet mask would be 255.255.255.252. That means in this subnet, I can only have two devices, two valid hosts, because I only have two routers. So then I chose this subnet mask because I don't need more than two. Two is fine. And the other one will be 200.200.200.2 slash 30. There we go. And there we go. Okay, so and then between them, I'm gonna set up this IP address for each uh, interface. So the external, let's say that like the one interface that's going to connect New York to Toronto, I'm gonna choose 200.200.200.1, and in my interface, my one interface for Toronto is going to be 200.200.200.2. Uh, to start, for my New York, in this like packet tracer, we can only click here and we can go to CLI, and then we can see the command line interface screen. But I'm gonna kind of simulate a real life. So instead, connecting straight to the router, because in real life we cannot just like see the router right away. We would need a computer to connect to the router. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to select any device, my PC. I'm going to put like a PC here. I'm going to select a cable, and the cable actually is the console cable. Okay, so I need to connect this console cable using my RS232 and connect to my router on the console port. Okay, and I'm going to do here admin 1, for example, and I'll do the same thing for my Toronto PC8. Let's say this is like admin 2. Gonna get this console cable from my RS 232 to my Toronto router on the console cable. Okay, and I'm gonna select this PC, the admin 1 PC, and if I go to desktop, there is a terminal, the same idea as we were doing in a real life. We would need to open a terminal to be able to see the CLI of the router. So I'm going to go to my terminal. I'll keep this configuration as the default. I'm going to hit OK, and then I can see the same way my command line interface for my New York router. The first line is just asking if we would like to go with the initial configuration dialog, which the setup would be just like with help, but we're gonna do like everything manually. So I'm gonna say no, and then I can press uh, anything to start. So right now I am in the user mode, and I need to go to the like privilege mode, like the admin mode. Okay, so now we can see like this pound sign. That means you are on the privilege mode. So now I need to go to the configuration mode. So I just type configure terminal, and the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change the name. So the name I'm gonna do like New York. Okay, so now I can see I've changed the name for my router just to organize. And after that, I know that the interface that I need to set up for my LAN is this interface here, which is my gigabit Ethernet 0/1. So I need to go to interface, gigabit Ethernet 0/1. I get into the interface mode, and then I do the IP address. And now it's 192.168.0.254, and the mask, which is 255, 255, 255.0. And by default, the interface is like shut down. So it's kind of like disabled. So here we need to do like, please, no, shut down the interface. When I hit enter, it shows that the line protocol on interface gigabit Ethernet 0/1 changed state to up. So now I can see that my interface 0/1 is up, and it's just like synchronizing with the switch, which here, this orange dot, in a few seconds, we're gonna see green, and we can test actually from any device on this network if we can at least ping this interface. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to choose, say, like PC1. I'm going to go to command prompt, and from here I try to ping from my PC1 to the router's interface, which is 192.168.0.254, and boom. So my interface has been set up, my LAN interface, which is good. So I can uh, reach this interface because this interface is already on the same network. And that's why this, if I go to desktop, let me close here. Actually, I can just like do an IP config. And my default gateway actually is this IP address, which is the IP address of my LAN interface of my router. Okay, I'm gonna close this. I'm gonna close this, and I'm gonna do now the Toronto uh, LAN interface. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I go to the admin computer, which is connected with the console cable straight to the router. I go to desktop, and then let me put here on this side, and then I go terminal. So we keep the same default setup. We do OK, and now we can see the command line interface or the CLI. Same idea here. I'm gonna say no because I want to set up the IP address and all the configuration manually. I'm in the user mode. I need to use the enable command to get the admin mode or privilege mode. And I go to the configure terminal to enter the configuration mode. I'm gonna do the same thing just to have, something organized. Host name Toronto, just renaming my router's name. And from here, I'll do the same thing. I need to go to my interface, gigabit Ethernet 0/1, and then I set up my IP address. But now my IP address for this interface, which is the gigabit interface, Ethernet 0/1, is 172.16.0.254 with the mask 255.255.255.0. And again, by default, the routers, they come with shutdown interface, and here I need to say please no shutdown. And I can see right away that the line protocol on interface gigabit Ethernet 0/1 changed state to up. So again, I'm gonna close this, and it's just like synchronizing with the switch. I'm gonna wait until it gets green, and I'll be testing from PC6, for example. Let me just move this. I'm gonna open my command prompt, and I'll check if I can ping from my PC6, if I can reach my LAN interface of my router. 172.1.16.0.254. And yes, I can ping. I'm gonna close this. I'm gonna close this. So now this network here has been set up. So from my PC6, my PC5, my PC4, I can reach my router, and from my router, I can also reach any of those computers. So that means they are all on the same network, and same idea for this side. Okay, so now it's time to set up my one interface of my New York or of my Toronto. It doesn't matter the order. I'm gonna choose the New York. I'm gonna choose again my computer, which is connected using the console cable straight to my router. I'm gonna go to terminal, and I'm gonna hit OK, enter, and I need to exit because I'm in the interface gigabit Ethernet 01, but I need to go to interface gigabit Ethernet 00. Okay, so now I'm connected to this interface, and I need to set up the IP address, which is this one here, 200.200.200.1. And as I said, a slash 30, it'll be at 255.255.255.252. And same thing, I need to do a no shutdown. And as we can see, it shows that the gigabit Ethernet 00 changed state to up. But you're probably like asking yourself why it didn't get green, because for this, for the LAN, when you entered like the no shutdown, they got green right away. But in this case, as my router is connected to another router, I would need to set up the other side. So I'm gonna do same thing, admin computer. I'm gonna go to terminal, I'm gonna hit OK, and I am in the gigabit Ethernet 01 interface. So I need to exit from here because this interface here is my gigabit Ethernet 00, not 01. So I'll do the same thing, interface gigabit Ethernet 00, and then IP address and my one IP address of my router, of my Toronto router. 200.200.200.2 slash 255.255.255.252, which is my mask. And now I can do a no shutdown. So now I can see that my one interface is green, and for my Toronto and for the New York's router is also green. I'm gonna close here. I'm gonna close here, and now we have a few things. So I have tested already from my PC6, for example, or from any computer here that I can reach this interface 172.16.0.255, 254, and I'm gonna check if I can reach this interface here, 200.200.200.2. from PC6. So let's see. Ping 200.200.200.2. And yes, I can reach this interface. And I'm gonna try dot one. So dot one, I can't. It's just like request timeout. There is a few things that I also would need to add here. So let me try that again. Dot one to one, and it doesn't work. Okay. Actually, the point here is uh, this PC, it can reach this interface. But the point is, this router doesn't know how to reply back to 172.16.0.0. So I'm gonna go to see, let's see uh, the routing table. So the routing table from my Toronto, let's see, show IP route from my Toronto, and I can see that my Toronto router knows this network 172.16.0.0/24 because this is connected direct connected to uh, my network, to this network. So the router also knows this 200.200.200.0 network. And as we can see, the C, it means connected. So I have this network connected. I also have this network connected to the Toronto router. But the point is, let me try also to ping this network here. So if I try ping, for example, 192.168.0.1, and it shows destination host unreachable. So from my PC6 or from any device here, they cannot reach any computer on this network. And if we ask why, the point is, if you go back to our Toronto router terminal, just hit OK here. And if we see here again, the Toronto router doesn't know the 192.168.0.0 network. We don't see here at all. So the Toronto router only knows two different networks, the networks that the router is connected to, which is 172.116.0.0 and 200.200.200.0. But the router doesn't know the 192.168.0.250.0. Sorry. Okay. So in this case, I would need to go to my configure terminal, and I need to add uh, the network manually. So I need to add a static route manually. So I can do IP route in the network 192.168.0.0. I need to tell the network, which is 255.255.255.0. And here we need to ask, how could this network reach, or what would it be the path for my Toronto router to be able to reach the 192.168.0.0 network. In this case, it needs to be the next hop. So the next hop actually is the IP address of my next router. In this case, 200.200.200.1. Okay, so what I'm saying here to the router is please add the route to reach this network passing through this router. Okay, and if I go back and if I do show IP route, and now I have this configuration here. So now it shows that statically the router knows how to uh, get this network and how it will be via 200.200.200.1, which is from here. Okay, and I need to do the same thing on the other side on the New York's router. So if I go here, it's the same scenario actually. If I go here, if I go to terminal, okay, I'm in the New York router. Let me go back to do the show IP route. So this router here only knows the network 192.168.0.0, which is connected to this router, and this router also knows the network 200.200.200.0, but it doesn't know 172.16.0.0 because it's not connected to this router. I would need to add manually, which is what I'm gonna do now. So same thing I did for the Toronto router, I need to do here. So I need to go to the configure terminal and I add IP route and then which network 172.16.0.0, which my subnet mask is 255.255.255.0, and I need to choose my next hop, which in this case, the next hop of my New York's router is my one of my Toronto router. Okay, so in this case, it would be please add this route that has this mask via 172, sorry, 200.200.200.2, my next router. And I need to hit enter. If I exit from here and I do again, show IP route, and now I can see that statically a route has been added. In this case, is 172.16.0.0/24. So if I ask the router now, how do I get to the 172.16.0.0 network? And the router would say, okay, via 200.200.200.2. Okay, so now I have a complete scenario. And let me just save my configuration. There's a command to save, which is copy running config to my startup config. Okay, just saved my New York, and I'm gonna save as well my Toronto. Go to terminal, I'm gonna okay, and I do copy running config, startup config. Okay, saved. Now it's time to check again if I can ping, let me just put here, command prompt. I'm gonna check again if I can ping. We had tested actually this already, but let's try that again. 172.16.0.254, which is fine. So I can ping from PC6 to this. We also tried the ping to ping this too. So now I can ping PC6 to this as well. Okay, to this. And now I'm gonna try from PC6 to this one's interface of my New York router, which is 1. And boom. So last time we tried and it did not work. So after I added the static route, and now I can reach that uh, uh, interface because I added the route on the New York router. So now it can like get back to me, to PC6 actually. Okay. And I'm gonna also try to ping PC1, for example, which is 191.168.0.1. And I also can ping PC1. So I'm testing actually from PC6 all the way to PC1. And now because I have root, I can ping properly. I'm gonna close this and I'm gonna do the opposite. I'm gonna do the other side, command prompt, and I'm gonna try pinging PC6 or PC4, it doesn't matter. Let's try PC4, which is 172.16.0.4. Let's see, sometimes it loses like the first ping, and boom. Let's try again. Now it should work straight. And now I can ping from uh, my PC1 to any PC on the other side. So we created here a like complete and from scratch scenario connecting two different networks. One network which I called like the New York network, and the other one I called the Toronto network. So we built a straight thing, uh, a lab from scratch, and everything worked. So I hope you guys liked this lab. Please give us a thumb up. Please give us a like. And thank you for your time. I would ask you to subscribe to my channel. If you can, it would be appreciated. Thank you so much. You guys have a great day. Bye.